So the name of the game is The Girl Who Sees, and it's a 2D fantasy adventure game. We're starting out by developing it on the PC, and then hopefully we're going to move to tablets and phones one day. And the game is about this young Filipino girl named Kina. She's about 12 years old, and she is in the midst of World War II. She's in a small village in the southern Philippines, and it's being occupied by the Japanese. And she wanders into the forest one day and is picking mangoes up in a tree when a little dwarf comes running through screaming his head off, and he's being chased by a sarangay, which is the Filipino version of a minotaur. And the minotaur is trying to get the scroll from Edgar, who is the dwarf. And so Kina helps Edgar grab that scroll, and it turns out that it's written in ancient Baybayin, which is the old Filipino ancient script. And so Kina has to help translate the scroll to figure out why all of a sudden she has this new magical power. And that magical power is that she can see Tagalog words over all objects around her in her environment. So along with trying to figure out how to translate the scroll and helping the old man of the forest, Manong Capre, to get that translation, she has to fight any angry, evil monsters that come her way. I am just starting out as a game designer, and last summer I was looking for something to do as practice. And I started thinking, okay, so what is this game going to be about? And I realized that most fantasy games are set either in Nordic times in Scandinavia or in medieval Europe. And I said, well, why don't we make something with people of color instead? And so I had to pick a culture, and I figured that I should go with what I know first, to be able to speak truly to the people and the culture. So I said, all right, we're going to do it about the Philippines. I'm really interested in making this game for any Filipino kid of the diaspora, sort of any kid whose parents had to move to another country and they don't have access to a lot of Filipino culture. And there's a fair amount of things to do for Filipino Americans. And that's great, but then at the same time, there's no representation, accurate representation, I should say, of Filipino Americans in American media as it is right now. And so, I think it's really important for young Filipinos to have a protagonist who looks and sounds like them and who has the same sort of experiences and background somewhat. So that's the impact that I want to make. I want this to, hopefully a Filipino kid will watch this and think, wow, I never learned Tagalog. Maybe I'll learn a little bit.